Are you staring at your creatinine number and wondering if this is the moment everything changes? Because if you have ever felt that cold drop in your stomach when a doctor says your kidneys are struggling, you are not alone. And today I need you to listen closely because what I am about to tell you may be the difference between years of independence and a future chained to hospital visits. High creatinine is not just a warning sign. It is often the very first signal that your kidneys are slipping faster than you realize. By the time most Americans feel real symptoms, more than half of their kidney function is already gone. That is why I am here, Dr. Richard Hale, to tell you the truth. Many people never hear until it is too late. Right now, inside millions of homes across the United States, people are walking around with rising creatinine and silent kidney damage without having a single clue. This disease rarely shouts, it whispers, and it keeps whispering until the day it roars so loudly that nothing feels reversible anymore. But the danger is not that your kidneys are weak. The danger is that nobody ever taught you how to fight back before the damage becomes permanent. That changes today, because hidden inside your own kitchen are 3 simple spices that scientists have proven can lower creatinine, calm the inflammation destroying your filters, and protect your kidneys before the decline becomes unstoppable. These are not miracle cures. These are real, measurable biological tools that work with your body instead of against it. And once you understand how they heal from the inside out, you will never look at your daily routine the same way again. So stay with me, because what I am about to reveal next will make you realize that your situation is not hopeless at all. It is simply waiting for the right strategy to turn the tide, and that strategy begins now. The first natural tool I want you to understand begins with a simple question. Have you ever looked at your lab report and wondered why your creatinine keeps rising even though you feel like you are doing everything right? It is one of the most frustrating experiences my patients face, and if you have felt that confusion, I want you to know it is not your fault. Kidney decline often begins quietly, long before symptoms appear, and by the time the numbers change, your body has already been fighting a battle you never saw coming. But there is a way to help your kidneys catch their breath again, and the first step starts with a golden spice that has been sitting in your kitchen this entire time. That spice is turmeric, and when it is used correctly, it becomes one of the strongest internal shields your kidneys can have. Years ago, I treated a man named Daniel, 68 years old, a retired firefighter who had survived burning buildings and collapsing roofs. Yet nothing scared him more than the day his creatinine hit 1.7. He felt like his independence was slipping away. He told me he sprinkled turmeric on his food sometimes, hoping it would help, but he never saw a difference. That was the moment I explained what no one had ever told him. Turmeric alone is not the key. It is curcumin, the active compound inside it, and more importantly, how your body absorbs it. Researchers from the University of the Philippines discovered that curcumin works like a protective barrier around your kidneys' tiny filters. When oxidative stress rises, it acts almost like rust eating through metal, slowly wearing down the cells that keep your blood clean. Curcumin interrupts that process. It blocks inflammatory enzymes, protects cell membranes, and calms the biochemical storm that pushes creatinine higher. But here's the detail that changes everything. On its own, curcumin slips through your body almost unused. Your digestive system lets most of it pass straight through without ever helping your kidneys. That is why I taught Daniel the same method I'm teaching you now. You must combine turmeric with a small pinch of black pepper. That single pinch boosts absorption by over 2,000%. Suddenly, your body can actually use the curcumin instead of wasting it. Daniel started drinking warm almond milk with 1 to 2 grams of turmeric and that tiny pinch of pepper every morning. 6 weeks later, his creatinine dropped just enough to prove one thing. His kidneys were not done. They were simply waiting for the right support. And if you are wondering whether this can work for you too, the answer is yes when used daily, consistently, and correctly. Turmeric is the first layer of defense, the one that shields your filters from the damage you cannot see. But even though this protection is powerful, it is only one piece of the story. Because turmeric guards the outside of the cell, but the real battle, the deeper damage that pushes creatinine even higher, needs something that reaches inside the cell itself. And that is why knowing this is not enough, because the next spice does something turmeric simply cannot do, and once you hear what it does inside your kidneys, you will understand why scientists were shocked by the results. If turmeric is the shield that protects your kidney filters from the outside, then ginger is the warrior that walks straight into the damage and starts cleaning it up from within. And the moment you understand how this works inside your body, you will realize why so many people fail to lower their creatinine, even when they try everything else. Because creatinine does not rise only from inflammation. It rises because the cells responsible for filtering your blood are exhausted, suffocated, and slowly losing their ability to function. Ginger steps into that battlefield in a way turmeric simply cannot. I remember a woman named Eleanor, 72 years old, who came to my clinic with creatinine that had been creeping upward for almost 2 years. She told me she felt like she was disappearing piece by piece, losing her energy, her appetite, her confidence. She had tried supplements, teas, diets, you name it, but nothing made a difference. When I asked if she had ever used ginger consistently, she laughed and said she thought ginger was only for nausea. That was the moment everything changed for her. Because deep inside ginger is a compound called gingerol, and gingerol behaves like a microscopic repair team. A research group at the University of Oxford ran a controlled study on patients with real chronic kidney disease, not healthy volunteers, not animals, but real people with rising creatinine, just like Eleanor. The results stunned even the researchers. After consistent daily intake of ginger serum, creatinine dropped. Not slightly, not vaguely, but measurably. And every drop meant cleaner blood, healthier filters, and kidneys that were beginning to recover their strength rather than lose it. Here is why. When your renal cells are exposed to oxidative stress and chronic inflammation, they begin to break down at the molecular level. Gingerol moves directly into those cells, neutralizing free radicals, calming inflammatory signals, and allowing the cells to restore their structure. And when those cells can finally breathe again, they do the one job they were designed to do: remove waste from your blood. That is why creatinine falls. It is not magic, it is biology waking back up. Eleanor followed a simple routine: 1 to 2 grams of ginger daily, a small thumb-sized piece of fresh ginger grated into warm water each morning, or half a teaspoon of ginger powder added to her afternoon smoothie. Within a few weeks, her blood work showed a shift, small but undeniable. Her creatinine lowered, her energy returned, and the fear she carried on her shoulders for years began to loosen its grip. She told me, "Doctor, I feel like my kidneys finally stopped drowning." And here is something you should ask yourself. Have you been giving your kidneys the tools they need to rebuild? Or have you been accidentally starving them of the very nutrients that help them heal? Because ginger is not just a spice, it is a cellular intervention your kidneys have been waiting for. Yet as powerful as ginger is, there is still a deeper danger silently tearing down your kidney function, one that ginger alone cannot fix. But knowing this alone is not enough, because the next factor is even more destructive and far more common, and unless you understand it fully, your creatinine may keep rising no matter what you add to your diet. If turmeric protects your kidney filters and ginger repairs the damage inside them, then garlic takes on the silent force that destroys kidney function faster than anything else: high blood pressure. Most people think creatinine rises only because of inflammation or weak kidneys, but in reality, uncontrolled pressure is like a constant hammer hitting your filters with every heartbeat. And until that pressure is lowered, your kidneys never get the chance to heal. That is why garlic becomes a game changer, but only when it is prepared the right way. I remember a patient named Robert, 74 years old, a former truck driver who spent decades pushing through long nights on the road. He told me he never feared anything until the day his doctor said his creatinine might lead him toward dialysis. His blood pressure was pounding through his kidneys like a high-pressure hose. No matter what he changed in his diet, the numbers kept climbing. When he first heard me mention garlic, he laughed and said, "Doctor, I use garlic on everything, but it sure has not helped." That was the moment I explained the part almost no one knows. Fresh garlic contains a compound called alliin, but alliin is not the hero. When garlic is crushed and exposed to oxygen, alliin transforms into allicin, the active molecule your kidneys desperately need. Allicin widens blood vessels, lowers pressure, calms inflammation, and protects the fragile filters inside your kidneys from being squeezed to death. A 2016 study from the University of Toronto showed that people with declining kidney function who took garlic consistently had improvements in filtration reductions, in inflammation and better pressure control all at the same time. That combination is exactly what creatinine-heavy kidneys need. When I taught Robert the correct method, crush 1 to 2 cloves, let them sit for 10 minutes, then add them to his meal, his progress finally began. Within weeks, his pressure stabilized. His creatinine stopped rising, and for the first time in years, he slept through the night without waking in fear. He once told me, "I always thought my kidneys were failing because they were weak. I never knew the pressure inside me was what was breaking them down." This is why consistency matters. If you chop garlic and cook it immediately, you lose almost all of the allicin. If you buy pre-minced garlic from a jar, it contains nearly 0 active compounds. And if you take blood thinners, you must check with your doctor because garlic naturally thins the blood as well. But when used correctly, garlic becomes a pressure release valve inside a stressed kidney, taking weight off the filters so they can function without drowning in force. Garlic does more than flavor your meals. It gives your kidneys room to breathe again. But even though lowering pressure is essential, it still does not address another daily mistake that silently pushes creatinine higher and forces your kidneys into exhaustion. But knowing this alone is not enough because the next factor is even more common and far more dangerous, and if you do not fix it, your creatinine may continue climbing no matter how well you eat. Lowering creatinine is never just about what you add. It is about how consistently your kidneys receive protection throughout the day. And this is where most people unknowingly sabotage themselves. They take turmeric once, ginger twice a week, garlic when they remember, and then wonder why their numbers do not move. Your kidneys do not improve from big efforts done rarely. They improve from small, steady support delivered at the right moments in your day. I once worked with a woman named Patricia, 69 years old, who felt completely overwhelmed by the idea of changing her lifestyle. She said, "Doctor, I do not have the strength to overhaul my entire life." And I told her something that finally made everything click. You do not need a complete overhaul, you just need a rhythm. So we built a simple routine: morning turmeric with black pepper, afternoon ginger tea, evening garlic added to her dinner after resting for 10 minutes. Just 3 small anchors. No stress. No complicated recipes. No supplements that cost hundreds of dollars. Within weeks, Patricia felt lighter. Her swelling started to fade. Her energy came back. And when her lab results finally showed a gentle drop in creatinine, she cried in my office because it was the first time in years she felt like her body was working with her instead of against her. That is the power of a kidney-friendly rhythm. You are not waiting for your kidneys to collapse. You are giving them steady fuel to rebuild themselves quietly day after day. But here's the part people forget. Even the perfect routine can collapse if you continue one hidden habit. Almost everyone overlooks a habit that silently pushes creatinine higher no matter how well you eat. But knowing this alone is not enough because the next factor is even more dangerous and far more common. And unless you understand it, your kidneys may be fighting a battle they cannot win. Even when you follow the right routine with turmeric, ginger, and garlic, there is a hidden reason your creatinine may still rise. And this is the part nobody warns you about. Your kidneys are not just damaged by inflammation or pressure. They are quietly weakened every single day by habits you may not even realize you're doing. The most dangerous of these is excess sodium. Salt hides in canned soups, frozen meals, sauces, dressings, and restaurant food. Every extra pinch forces your body to retain water, raises your blood pressure, and pushes your kidney filters to their breaking point. The damage builds slowly, but the impact becomes severe before you ever feel it. I once treated a man named Harris, 66, who was frustrated because nothing seemed to work. His diet looked clean on paper, but when we looked deeper, he was unknowingly eating almost 2,000 milligrams of extra sodium a day from foods he assumed were healthy. When he switched to fresh ingredients and cut those hidden salts, his blood pressure dropped within weeks, and his creatinine finally stabilized for the first time in years. It was not magic. It was removing the one thing that kept attacking him quietly. And salt is only part of the problem. Eating too much animal protein forces your kidneys to filter more waste than they can handle. NSAIDs like ibuprofen reduce blood flow to the kidneys and damage the delicate tissues that keep creatinine under control. These are daily habits millions of people do without thinking, yet they are strong enough to erase the progress your spices are making. So here's the truth. Healing your kidneys is not just about adding the right tools. It is about removing the hidden triggers that make your kidneys fight harder than they should. But even this is not the full picture because there is still another factor affecting your kidneys every day, one most people completely ignore until the damage becomes irreversible. But knowing this alone is not enough because the next factor is even more common and far more dangerous, and it may be the real reason your creatinine refuses to fall. Even when you remove hidden kidney saboteurs like salt excess protein and NSAIDs, there is still one factor quietly pushing creatinine higher: dehydration. Most people think dehydration means feeling thirsty, but your kidneys feel it long before you do. When you do not drink enough water, your blood becomes thicker, heavier, and more concentrated with waste. That forces your kidneys to work harder with every beat of your heart. I once had a patient named Marie, 71, who was doing everything right: good diet, stable blood pressure, consistent with her spices, yet her creatinine kept climbing. The problem was simple. She drank only 1 glass of water by noon. Her kidneys were filtering sludge instead of fluid. Science backs this up. Dehydration raises creatinine because there is not enough liquid to dilute waste or help flush toxins through the nephrons. Even mild dehydration can reduce kidney filtration by 10 to 15%. When Marie began drinking 8 small glasses spread throughout the day instead of chugging one at night, her creatinine began to stabilize in just a few weeks. Her energy improved, her thinking became clearer, and the headaches she blamed on age quietly disappeared. But hydration is only half the story. Your kidneys repair themselves during deep sleep, especially between midnight and 4 in the morning. If you sleep only 5 hours or wake up repeatedly, your kidneys lose their repair window. I have seen patients track their creatinine for months, and the same pattern appears again and again: poor sleep equals rising creatinine. When you sleep well, your blood pressure resets, inflammation falls, and your kidneys finally get the quiet environment they need to rebuild the tissue that keeps you off dialysis. And yet, as critical as hydration and sleep are, this still does not reveal the full picture. There is one final piece, the one that determines whether the damage slows down or accelerates. But knowing this alone is not enough because the next factor is the one that decides whether your kidneys can truly recover, and missing it could be the difference between stability and decline. Even when you hydrate properly, sleep deeply, avoid hidden kidney saboteurs, and use all 3 healing spices, there is still one final truth you must understand. Your kidneys do not heal from one powerful action. They heal from a pattern, a daily rhythm, where the right habits work together hour after hour to keep your creatinine from creeping back up. Most people fail not because they are doing the wrong things, but because they are doing the right things in isolation. Your kidneys need consistency, not occasional effort. I once worked with a 70-year-old teacher named Linda who came to me overwhelmed by everything she had learned. She said, "Doctor, I feel like I am trying to juggle 100 things at once." So I broke it down for her. Morning protection, afternoon repair, evening recovery. That was it. 3 anchors. 3 simple checkpoints that turned her entire kidney health around. She took turmeric with black pepper in the morning to calm inflammation and strengthen her filters. Ginger in the afternoon to support cellular repair. Garlic with dinner to bring down the pressure that had been silently crushing her kidneys for years. And she paired those spices with regular hydration, low-sodium meals, and a commitment to 7 hours of sleep. The result was remarkable. Her creatinine, which had been locked in a slow climb for nearly a year, finally stabilized. Her swelling decreased, her energy returned, and for the first time in a long time, she felt hope instead of fear. And the science supports this gentle, layered approach. When inflammation goes down, pressure stabilizes, cells repair, and filtration improves your kidney function, stops declining, and begins rebuilding in small, steady steps. But even this strategy, as powerful as it is, still leads to one final question. The question every patient eventually asks me: how do you stay consistent when life gets overwhelming and motivation fades? But knowing this alone is not enough, because the next part is the true key, the part that decides whether all of this becomes a lifelong transformation or just another forgotten attempt. Before we finish, I want to speak to you heart to heart. If you are watching this right now, it means you care about your kidneys more than you might admit. And that alone already puts you ahead of millions of people who ignore the early warning signs until it is too late. I want you to remember something important. Your creatinine number is not a sentence. It is information. It is a signal. And today you learned how to respond to that signal with strength, knowledge, and hope. You now understand how turmeric protects your filters, how ginger repairs them, how garlic takes pressure off them, and how your daily choices can either help your kidneys breathe or push them into exhaustion. You have tools, you have clarity, and most importantly, you have the power to slow down, stabilize, and even improve your kidney function when you take consistent steps day after day. So please do not let today be the end of your journey. Let it be the beginning. If this video gave you value, helped you understand your creatinine, or even gave you a little relief from the fear you may have been carrying, make sure you save this video so you can come back to it whenever you need guidance. And if you have not done it yet, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. I share new medical insights every week to help you protect your kidneys, avoid dialysis, and understand the warning signs before they become dangerous. Your health deserves reliable information, not guesswork. And here is the message I want you to carry with you. Your kidneys are not giving up. They are waiting for you to give them the right support. Small choices create big changes. And no matter your age, no matter your numbers, there is always a path forward when you take the next step with confidence. I am here with you, and you do not have to walk this journey alone.